It's time to bin the BBC. This Saturday, there's going to be simultaneous demonstrations. BBC London at 1 o'clock. Central London, Portland Place. BBC Manchester. BBC Belfast. There's going to be demonstrations protesting about the bias within the BBC. Protesting about the fact that they slander people and set people up that are, let's say, right-leaning. Protesting against the fact that they have become the Brexit Broadcasting Corporation. Protesting against the fact that they've been betraying British culture. There was a dreadful documentary on the BBC last week that Peter Taylor, the main Northern Ireland correspondent for the BBC, fronted, where he actually said he would join the IRA. That's what he said. And at the end of it, he intimated, he didn't say it clearly, but he intimated there would never be peace in Ireland until the border issue was sorted out. In other words, until there was a united Ireland. He didn't say that explicitly, but that was what I got from what he said. The documentary covered the, I suppose now, 50 years of the Troubles, and most of the focus was on what happened on Bloody Sunday and other events that were carried out by the British security forces. There was very, very little about the mass murder and the genocide carried out by the Provisional IRA over those years of the Troubles. And then we look at the situation with Tommy, and we see what they were trying to do. And TR News put a news piece out. I'm going to put the link in below. TR News put a news piece out yesterday about the, well, let's just say I think Peter Sweeney's days at the BBC are probably numbered. If the allegations that have been made against him are true, then Peter Sweeney is in big, big trouble. But the interesting thing is that Sweeney and Co. wanted to do a stitch-up piece against Tommy Robinson. And they've done it with so many patriots down through the years, where they've slandered them, they've maligned them, purely and simply because they don't agree with their political opinions. There's plenty of people make mistakes in public life, but the BBC and basically everybody in the mainstream media attack people that are right-leaning, whether it's Conservative politicians, UKIP politicians, people like Tommy. The BBC take great pleasure and great glee in ruining their lives. So I think it's about time that the BBC were called to account. And not just the BBC, all of the mainstream broadcasters, Sky News, ITV News or ITN or whatever they call it, I think it's ITV News now, GMTV, all of those organisations, Good Morning Britain, all of those organisations, all of those news outlets need to be called to account for the way they report the news. The Good Morning Britain have a woman doing comment on their early morning shows. She's on at 6:30. This woman, when she was being interviewed by Piers Morgan about a year ago, said, "I really am a communist." Now, I want you to think about this. Communism in the 20th century was responsible for over 100 million deaths. That's a fact. Go and do the research. Communism has filled more graves than Nazism. And Nazism is disgusting and insidious. But imagine if somebody sat on Good Morning Britain and said, "Oh, I actually really am a Nazi." Can you imagine that? And by the way, just what I've said, they'll probably be clipped by Antifa and used as evidence that I'm a Nazi. Anyway, imagine if that happened. Imagine if somebody said that on TV. They would quite rightly be ruined. But communism is okay. And this is a really important point. The media outlets, the establishment and the government have been taken over by the far left. And when we look at people like Yvette Cooper, and we look at people like David Lammy, and we look at people like Diane Abbott, and we look at people like Anna Sowerby, who's in the Conservative Party, we realise that the left has infiltrated and taken over the apparatus of the state. And I believe that is in every institution. And that's why our battle is so ferocious, because every institution has been infiltrated by the ideology of the hard left, and they haven't even realised that it's happened to them. So the BBC needs to be called to account, and that's what's going to happen this weekend. 3 different locations is going to be called to account for its bias. It's going to be called to account for smearing Tommy Robinson, and it's going to be called to account for the corruption, because there's a lot of corruption in the BBC. Again, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of it on this video, but we need to start getting outside these broadcasters' workplaces and letting them know that we, the general public, are not happy with what they're doing. And do we start going on TV license strikes and not paying our TV licenses? I think there's definitely a case for that. There's definitely a case for saying, until the BBC sort their act out and stop wasting our money on vanity projects and start giving us what we want to see, which is the truth, and a corporation that doesn't betray British culture but promotes British culture. So this Saturday, 1 o'clock, BBC London, make that a massive demonstration. The fascist left, the stormtroopers of the left, Antifa, are crowing and saying that they won a great victory because Tommy cancelled the demonstration. They don't know the reasons that Tommy cancelled the demonstration. And it was certainly nothing to do with the thuggery of Antifa. In fact, the police told me at the last Tommy demonstration that Antifa were frightened and asked for a police escort out of town. That's what the police told me. That's what a policeman told me. Because we said, where have the left gone? They said, oh, they got scared and they had to go. And to me, I mean, I don't know why they were frightened. They were the ones wearing masks and carrying batons. But anyway, that's what the police said. So this vile group, Antifa, who are absolutely complete fascists, the hypocrisy of it is unbelievable. We mustn't let them get a victory by thinking that they've stopped demonstrations. So I would encourage everybody that's in London this Saturday to go to the BBC at 1 o'clock. Everybody that's in Manchester that believes in these causes, that wants to see Tommy free, that wants to see freedom of speech, that wants to see an unbiased media. If that's you and you're in London, Manchester or Belfast, go to those demonstrations at 1 o'clock on Saturday, and make some noise outside the BBC. This is these protests are going to be organic protests. There's not a strict structure to them. There's not going to be, speeches and that carnival atmosphere. That's not happening on these demonstrations outside the BBC. They're going to be organic, and it's your opportunity to tell the BBC how disgusted you are with our output and what they're doing. They're a shameful organisation. They're an absolutely shameful organisation, and they need to be called out on it. So BBC protests this Saturday, 1 o'clock BBC London, 1 o'clock BBC Manchester, 1 o'clock BBC Belfast. And also, if you're anywhere else in the country and there's a BBC office or a BBC studios there, get outside the BBC studios if you're in Newcastle, if you're in Glasgow, if you're in Edinburgh, and make some noise and let them know that you're not happy with what they're doing. And let them know that you support Tommy Robinson. You want to see Tommy freed. And you want to see this persecution of a man who speaks the truth come to an end in this country. Brilliant. Brilliant weekend up ahead. There's a lot going on. Don't be put off by the naysayers, the doom mongers, the pathetic, ridiculous left, or fear of being attacked by the authorities. Don't let any of those things put you off. Go to London, go to Manchester, go to Belfast, have peaceful and legal demonstrations, enjoy the day, and I'll see you all soon.